this guy right here is completely froze. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this little cover piece, get to this pulley, and see what's causing the problem here. The next thing that we want to do is we need to take the belt off, and right here is our tensioner pulley, and you can tell where that's at because you'll see the little spring. To make it easier to remove this belt here, there's a small little hole up underneath where that tensioner pulley is located, and I just took an old welding rod, slipped that up underneath the hole, and I was able to pull back on there. Now with the belt removed, we figured out right here that this is our locked up pulley, and so we're going to go ahead and remove this guy right here. It takes a 3/4 inch drive. Probably going to need some kind of breaker bar or an air tool, and then what you want to do is I just used a piece of wood here to lock that blade in place, put my foot on it, and was able to get this out. Now we're able to assess this and see what we're working with here. Now if your pulley is frozen like ours was, to break that loose, just take you a socket here that's a little bit larger than the threads. Put that guy in there. Just take you a hammer. Nice and easy. You should just be able to tap that guy out. What it's going to do is it's going to drop, and you can see right here dropping that blade down. Now these two pieces right here are actually the inner part of the bearing that got chewed up. Now since these bearings got chewed up, the outer part of the bearings are actually stuck on the inside here. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove these 4 guys right here, and we're actually going to take this out, put it in a vise, and use a punch to punch those out. Alright, so these are the outer part of the bearings. These are the pieces you're actually going to need to punch out. And when you do that, you got to be very careful because there's actually a lip right here that the bearings are going to retain themselves up against. It's going to take a little bit of time to knock those out. Now we're ready to put it back together. Now when you go to install the new bearings, you want to just get this as level as you can, and then just take your little hammer, and we're just going to lightly tap this in. And you want to tap those all the way up to that flange. What I ended up doing here is just take you a little socket about the same size as the inner part of the bearing. Just set that on there and just tap that in. And again, you want to tap that all the way down to the flange on both ends. You're going to leave the top bearing off. And that's because you need to put that little collar in there for the blade. So we're going to go ahead and put this back in position, and then we'll put everything back together. Go ahead and insert the blade from the bottom. And you're going to grab this collar, slides over the top. You're simply going to put this bearing right back in place, and then you put the pulley back on top. When you go to put the pulley back on, just make sure that you line up the little keeper pin right here, this little key. It needs to be in line with the spindle and the pulley. If it comes out, that's fine. Just line these 2 holes up and just knock that in with a hammer there. When you get ready to put the belt on, don't forget about the little trick that we did here. You're just going to pull on that tensioner pulley, put that belt on there. One we fixed. All we have to do next is put the plate back on. We're good to go. Thanks for watching.